30 December 1995, 3:05 p.m. It was a cold, gray winter day as my buddy and I entered the front of USP Marion. We were both working gun towers, but we were coming in to check our mailboxes in the lieutenant's office. We just cleared 3 Grill when a group of guards came running straight at us at full speed. My buddy asked him what was going on. One of the officers yelled that an inmate was assaulting staff. My buddy and I looked at each other, and I said, "Man, our side must be losing if everybody's running for the front door." My buddy asked, "Where?" And somebody shouted, "It's in the visiting room." Well, that made sense. It was right behind us. We turned around, and just about then, they opened the door, and we ran in. We were the first 2 officers in there. And I saw a very large inmate putting up a pretty damn good fight with 2 officers. My buddy and I rushed forward and knocked the inmate to the cement floor. In seconds, the room was full of correctional officers and the duty lieutenant. The inmate continued to struggle as we secured his hands with cuffs and his legs with leg irons. As he continued to attempt to bite and kick, I grabbed a finger and told the guy if he didn't stop fighting, I'd start breaking fingers. My buddy, whose face was about 8 inches from mine, said, "Please don't break my fingers." I said I had no intention of doing so. He further explained to me that the hand I had hold of and the finger I was preparing to break was his and not the prisoner's. I released my pal's hand, found the convicts, and repeated my warning. The cons stopped struggling immediately. At this point, I'd worked for over 6 years at Marion, and the cons knew that my favorite method of compliance was to break fingers. I'd once broken 4 fingers on an inmate's hand. He needed surgery to correct the compound fractures. My buddy had moved to control the inmate's legs. The guy was face down on the floor, so my buddy controlled his legs by crossing the legs at the ankles and pushed him as far forward as possible. In this position, he'll lose all feeling and control in his legs in less than a minute. He also can't kick in this position. Lieutenant Myron L. Batts, later Warden Batts, did not want me to break any bones in this situation. He asked another officer to replace me, and I was released from the incident. The several other officers picked up the thug, put him on his feet, and went out the visiting room door. They all turned right and escorted him to I Unit and locked him up in the hole, as you would call it. I stayed where I was for a few minutes. All of us had to collect ourselves and to make sure that we looked each other over. We wanted to make sure that we knew the inmate's name, the time. I repaired my disheveled clothes. We got it straight as to what we would put in our memos. My buddy and I, we then went to the lieutenant's office, checked our mailboxes for any letters, changes of orders, and other stuff, somebody might have put in it. The mailboxes were a grid of wood attached to the wall in the antechamber of the lieutenant's office. It went from the floor to the ceiling and had about 350 cubbies that were about 4 by 4 inches square and about a foot deep. On the right side of the door was the lieutenant's office proper, and on the left side of the door was an identical door that led into the captain's secretary's office, which was another guard, and beyond that desk was the captain's office. I got a memo from the captain's secretary. I filled it out, pushed it under the door to the lieutenant's office, and my buddy and I left the same way that we'd come out to go to our gun towers for our shift. I like gun tower duty. It was quiet. Nobody tried to stab you. It was surrounded by concrete and bulletproof glass. We had a machine gun, some grenades to throw or fire from a grenade launcher, high-powered sniper rifle, .30 caliber carbine, in addition to a shotgun. And as a last resort, we had a pistol. There was plenty of ammo for all these weapons. I think I could have held off an infantry platoon by myself when I was in one of those towers. A thick steel door at the bottom was the only way that you could get in, and only I could open it. We had 8 towers that ringed the institution. It would have been nothing short of suicide to try to climb the 12-foot tall fences with over a dozen rolls of razor wire. One guy tried it once, and my buddy, he was in a tower on the other side of the exercise yard when that happened, but that's a story for another time. Now, if you liked this video, don't be an ass, hit the like button, and would it kill you to, subscribe?